Okay, just for a second, imagine Earth, anywhere from like 20 to 30 years from now. The planet is degrading, rapidly in fact, while technology continues to advance. Things are well past the point of restoration. Humanity's time is limited. Some don't know it and others choose to ignore it because what can they really do about it? Then a genius, whose knowledge rivals Einstein himself, creates a drug. The drug was able to take away any pain with no side effects, physical or mental. And on top of that, it was cheap, which led to it being used worldwide. It even started to be called the drug that could save the world. But only 2 years and 11 months after it was released, that same scientist made an announcement. Anyone who's ever taken the miracle drug even once will die exactly 3 years after taking it. That gives the very first users 30 days. In his grand revelation, he also reveals that he has a cure, but whoever wants it is going to have to find him first. After the announcement, some people panic. Some see it as a sort of punishment for their sentence, and some sit back and wait for someone else to come up with a cure because what can they really do about it? The smartest man alive went into hiding. It'll be almost impossible to find him without the right team. So get this, there's this woman who has the splendid idea to assemble a team of what are now ex-prisoners to have them search for this man, and in turn, the cure to this drug. Like they're a bunch of... I'm not gonna lie to you, I love this, like, a lot. An anime that introduces the characters, sets the tone, and tells us exactly what the objective is right away. No lollygagging, no wasting precious minutes of screen time, this is what I'm here for. I mean, who needs time and fine details when you could just force the plot down my freaking gullet, am I right? Not even in an ironic way either. If no extra time was needed, that's fine. Okay, I understand the story, the problem. Believe me, I'm hooked regardless. I have my questions about this place and its mystery medicine, and so does everybody else. We're all figuring this thing out at the same time. That's kind of the whole point. Find one man, save the world. It couldn't get any simpler. It's just the biggest game of Where's Waldo. And yet, even though the plot is so simple, Lazarus never feels slow because there's so much to do with an idea like that. You could put this group of deviants anywhere and make it make sense. South America, Antarctica, listen, you could put them in Tunisia and make that make sense. And I'm not gonna lie, this isn't anything insane, but I think it should at least back my point that a premise like this is actually amazing. There's one goal and endless ways to go about achieving it. This anime is so open to new types of progression, but at the same time keeps the main plot sitting in your mind. It's like the basis of episodic storytelling, which is a form of storytelling that I hate. I'm pretty sure I just said this in like my last video or something, but I can't stand episodic storytelling. It makes sense why this anime would use it. The first thing you see when you watch Lazarus is... But at the same time, my first taste of anime was waking up to Aaron's mom getting absolutely abolished in Attack on Titan through Adult Swim. I was like 10 by the way, but I can't stand it. It usually lacks long-term character growth, erases any lingering thoughts, feelings, or emotions a person had, and in most cases, every problem gets completely cleaned up before the next episode. Which doesn't actually, it can't just, no, that's not how it works! And my issue is that it's not a flaw, that's just how it goes with this type of storytelling. So it's already strange to me how interested I am in this type of anime, especially with its more unique Western approach to things. Now, for the record, this isn't the only anime that I felt like this about. I didn't think I was really that interested in webtoon adaptations before I watched Viral Hit, and if it weren't for bottom tier character Tomozaki gaslighting me into thinking it was about one of my favorite games, I never would have expanded my horizons and given myself the opportunity to watch more mature and thought-provoking works of fiction, like Prison School. Very difficult watch, by the way. You should try it out if you ever get the chance. Truly a work of art. Anyway, so at this point you're probably thinking, yeah, well, okay, no manga, what was the saving grace for this one? And thank you for asking. I actually do have an answer to that for once. It's the characters. The way they move and act here is interesting. Something I noticed is that the anime seems to take itself seriously, yes, but in a very lighthearted way, which is actually really nice. It's like Lazarus goes all in with every event and screams that exact situation in your face every second it gets. If someone is a bad guy, you better believe they, without the slightest bit of doubt, are not just a bad guy, but are also a bad person. Most characters here are actually very easy to read, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Actually, more straightforward characters can make a plot and its parts easier to follow. It's why the serious police officers here are so cold and distant. It's why the kind and caring grandmother makes the main character a free meal, because everybody knows kind people would do that. And it's why characters like Axel are so nimble and always seem confident despite not thinking most situations through. Characters like that are supposed to be sly. If someone is supposed to be cool, cunning, or shy, the anime can't stop letting you know. Listen, I get it, Mappa! Well, that's what I was going to say. But then I hit a bit of a roadblock. I started the script 12 days after I uploaded my Blue Box video, but I didn't know how I was supposed to conclude a video like this. The remainder of the script really wasn't saying much. It was just a lot of me repeating what I've already said, and sure, that's what a conclusion is, but what I've already said didn't even really have a point. Now, a few of my videos kind of don't anyway. If I want to make a video on something, I just do it. But this one, like, really didn't have a point though. And then 60 days passed. I have no clue how that happened, by the way. But since that happened, I decided to watch the newer episodes that dropped since then. And wow. I still wanted to make a video over this anime, but that video was going to be totally different. It's like there was a shift in storytelling or something. We actually started getting backstories and moments of real struggle for these characters. And what's better is the pacing still feels like before. If no flashback was needed, we didn't get one, and that's fine with me. It's almost like the colors in the anime got more vibrant. I was so impressed and excited with every episode. I felt like a kid in a candy shop, just instead, I was a grown man. Screaming about cartoons. So anyway, obviously with more episodes, we understand more, which helps. But it's also like everyone just has more to them, more merit to them. It's like Lazarus is still doing the same thing, just literally better. And it was thanks to this change that I had to rewrite half of my freaking script! This may seem a little bit out of order, but I still have one little tiny thing to talk about, and that's the action. I don't know how I've procrastinated talking about the fights in Lazarus for this long, but let's be real, we've all seen the look of this show. We've all seen the needless animation finesse in like every other cut. We knew these fights were gonna be. I don't think I've ever seen more bold fight choreography in my life. Like, there were the little common fights against typical bad guys, but then there'd be fights where the camera is sitting between an upside down man's legs. Pause on every front with that, by the way. Some of these altercations can genuinely get messy, and that's so cool to me, because it's harder to do than you might think, since there's so much going on simultaneously. What I found is that the fights are almost like tying a knot. At first it's a jumbled mess, and then at some point the knot gets pulled tight and everything clicks. And then you're just left there like, oh, so that's what happened. Then you start connecting the dots, and if you rewind, you're able to watch whichever part again, but with context now. I mean, it's great. A lot of people just won't like them. I get that. Even fights have what I like to call different genres, and this one is not your conventional type, especially in anime. But it's the same as what I said earlier. That's a pretty big part of why I like Lazarus, and that goes for every aspect of this anime. So far, there hasn't actually been a time where I've watched an episode of this and been uninterested. And I guess with an anime this short, that doesn't really say much. But really, it's more like every episode brought up a challenge I really haven't seen done in anime before. So I want to see how these people solve it, and every time they do, it feels like progress. Then on top of that, it's always solved in some funny or over-the-top way. But I guess at this point, that's really just what makes Lazarus. Show the information, take the action, and then connect the dots. It's a really cool way to do things in my opinion. I'm gonna keep on watching this since it could go in literally any direction now, but with that being said, if anything drastically changes, please don't attack me. I'm watching this thing at the same time you are, man.